see. It is recording. Okay, awesome. All right. Go back into podcasting mode. All right, here we go. All right, welcome back, guys. This is Coach Joe Bala. I am back with my next episode. As I'm recording this, it is October 31st, Halloween. I'm inviting a special guest here, one of my good friends, my fellow brothers, Fit Pro brothers. We work together. We've started with earlier in 2021, and we're also both Spartan coaches. He is also a personal trainer. We've supported one another during this journey, during this pandemic, and kind of feeding off each other. So I definitely appreciate him for what he's done for me as a Fit Pro and just a fellow brother out there. So I want to introduce you to Coach Pete Tapao. And I'll let Pete take the mic here. But basically, let me go ahead and switch to this. So Pete, introduce yourself. What do you want to share with people initially about you?
Oh man, how you doing, guys? Pete here. Well, I guess I love fitness. I love movement. Movement is medicine. Movement is healing. Just pretty much started in the industry 20 years ago. Oh man, it's been a long time. I want to say 1999, I think, or 1999 is my first job I had that was in the fitness world. Or sorry, 1998. I was working in a front desk. So how long is that now?
A long time. Yeah.
A long time. Over like 20 some years for sure. So I've enjoyed my fitness journey all throughout that time. I guess it all started with me wanting to be better and to kind of combat the demons that I have internally. And I guess through that process, I learned how to handle it from there. So that's it. Pretty much all the gist of where it is right there. Yeah.
That's awesome. Where did you start in the fitness industry? You said you started in the front desk. Which gym or what location did you start working at?
The place I worked at before was in Union City called it was Island Gym, and so I worked there as front desk. I really didn't think nothing of it at the time. I was just thinking to myself like, man, let's just work here, because at the time I just needed a job while I was going to school. And while I was there, they got me to work the 4:30 shift, 4:30 a.m., like really super early. And
Wow.
That's not a good thing, because at the time I just remember going there and just like taking a nap. And then the people, and in fact, actually I show up like I was always late, like about 10 minutes, 15 minutes, because you have to open at 4:30 exactly. And sometimes, I just get there, I'm just like super tired, and my God, but it's not too far from my place. But you can imagine a really like young kid, 19, 20 years old at the time, just really didn't care really, just figured just quick cash. And once I got there, I just remember like opening the door. I could see members outside pretty pissed off, like, come on, man. And I was just like, just go to the back and sleep.
Oh my God. Yeah. That's awesome. I remember having early morning jobs too, like that. That was definitely a challenge, being young and trying to find yourself, in the process. So what do you feel you gained from starting there? Like, did you find out early on like what your passion and purpose was as a trainer and coach eventually when you did make that transition from the front desk to training?
Man, it's I remember like starting that job, and then I remember like going into it, but I didn't really have any kind of ambitions to be a trainer at the time. I just needed some work to do, and it was just kind of something to help me pass by. In fact, actually, I thought everyone was retarded just going this early. You know what I mean? In my mind, I was like, "Why are you guys working out so early?" And all that kind of stuff was just racing through my mind. But all throughout the months and the years that I've been there, I slowly started to understand why. You know what I mean? Because I knew about working out before, but it was very superficial. Um, and then when I started like noticing these people who have these jobs, working out, doing it consistently, doing it, just pretty much doing it and making it as part of their routine, it started really like clicking. Like, oh, okay, this is a lifestyle. This is their body and all that kind of stuff. And then, of course, at the time when I was growing up, and I still am, I was also experiencing a lot of like I have like eczema. So there was like this. Sometimes I have like these flare-ups and skin things, whatever, and people would kind of look at me like, oh, what's going on with this guy? Because sometimes I would have like these skin conditions, and it would just either through my face or my arms or whatever, whatnot. And I'd struggle with that all throughout my life. And I just needed, and at the time I was kind of angry. I was kind of shallow, kind of like almost in my own shell. But after I adopted working out, which is, of course, I didn't really know the benefits of it, but just like what they say, it makes you feel good because your endorphins are going, and also at the same time, it made me kind of like take on my demons that I had internally within myself. My anxiety, my fears, my all of that. And by working out, I just found out that I can actually have a physical manifestation of that condition in front, and have some eczema was kind of like out there, but not really known. And so, you would like throw in all of these like lotions or whatever, but you always had these little small flares or sometimes big flares, and it was a big horrible experience for me. And I remember like adopting working out, I really was able to take over that, kind of like like I said, have a physical representation of this anxiety that I felt, and kind of like use working out as a platform to take on it and to beat it in some ways. You know what I mean? And so that's what kind of projected me to this path of wanting to learn more about what the industry, get to know more about it, and kind of like, but then again, when the first stage of that was all about just for me, you know what I mean?
Right.
So that's how it is, yeah.
That's awesome, brother. Yeah, I feel like it's important that we utilize, fitness as a platform to build from, right? It's our foundation. And sharing I've shared on my previous podcast episodes like my journey, and anxiety is something I deal with, and I had confidence issues before. I've had issues with people picking on me, bullying me because of how skinny or how thin I was, and how much smaller I was back in the day. And working out is what got me to find that self-confidence and allowed me to build and find my best self, and I'm still a work in progress. Even today, I'm 43, and we're similar in age, right? So that's why when we first met, like, we really connected on that level. So yeah, I appreciate you sharing that. And that's awesome that you found your way to deal with that anxiety and deal with the fact that you have eczema, and you show people that regardless of these battles that you have with this condition, you're still able to do what you do and serve your purpose. And that's amazing.
Yeah. Well, it started off like me just getting into that phase, and then after that, then I learned that, okay, this is something that I feel like I want to share to other people, and that's what led me to that path of being a trainer from there. It started off for me adopting it, first.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's awesome. So with the training, we've been in this pandemic for some time now. How do you feel COVID-19 affected you, at the start, versus where we are today, how many months later?
Oh man, it affected me, I guess, big time, like in a way, I guess spiritually and mentally. Because I think like mentally, I was kind of like caught in this grind before pandemic to just work, and not really important things, you know. You hear that a lot. It's very cliche that people say it, like, like you got, you know, what's the most important things in life. And until you understand that and you really take that time to really focus on it, like what the pandemic gave us the opportunity to do, then it made me realize and take an inventory in my life, you know, because the way my structure was like, even without even me knowing it, was work, God, family, and then me. You know what I mean?
Mm. Yeah.
And that order was just it was so out of whack, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And during that pandemic, I realized, okay, let me just put God, family, and then work. I started finding more success through that. You know what I mean? And I think that was
awesome.
the main thing that I picked up on through this time. And I guess that's also I think that's for everyone too, and that's why. And I don't know if it's correlated or not, but I think like a lot of people now that they experienced the pandemic, being at home, being with family, you know, some worked out really well, some didn't. But I think part of the reason why there's a work shortage is because people are realizing, like, man, I don't, you know what I mean? It's just too much work, or mental health is key. You know what I'm saying? It's important. And I guess that's one of the things that I've kind of like went through this process and realized, like, man, this is something that I think everyone needs to take inventory about. Like, I get it that money's important, but it's not everything, you know. And of course, if your priorities are backwards, you know, because money will flow where you're gonna go. Meaning, like, if your soul goes, right? And I think, like, if your soul is always trying to chase something, money just doesn't go that way. You know what I mean? I've always found myself like jumping into opportunities that are like not in the scope of what I am, and I find myself somewhere down the line that while doing it, I'm like not into it no more, or it's just not in my passion, and eventually somehow, some way I burned out to it. You know what I mean? But if I stick to what I'm passionate about, what I love, it's energy comes out of it, and then everything else kind of falls into place, working in that direction. You know what I'm saying? If that makes sense.
That's awesome.
So, yeah.
That's beautiful, brother. Yeah, I love how you mentioned you flipped your priorities, right? You made God first and spirituality first, and then, you know, family, then work. Because, you know, I myself went through some flips, multiple flips throughout my life, you know, where I was an engineer before, and it was always work, and then fit in family, and then take care of myself, you know. And it was like a juggling act, right? And it was never like it never flowed well, you know. And that's part of why we, you know, being coaches, being trainers, and helping our clients and helping our students better themselves, I feel like that's our way of also improving ourselves, because we're always a constant work in progress. And to be our best selves as coaches, trainers, is where we can give our 100%, you know, to our clients and our students as well, so helping them on their journey. So so do you feel like your approach and philosophy to how you train and how you coach is based on your spirituality? Or
oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
okay. How do you approach it, or what's your philosophy on that?
Well, I think for me, it makes a lot more sense to understand the world when you know what you're made for, what your purpose is. It's kind of almost like a car that's kind of like made out of the lot. And if the car doesn't understand the features, or you're driving it and you don't know the capacity and the full function of what it should do, then you're just missing out on what it's supposed to do, right? You know, if you're buying a Lamborghini and you're driving it like a commute car, then you know what I mean? You know, when you could totally race it, that's kind of like where that is. So in a small layman's metaphoric way, that's how I see my life too. Like, if I knew that if God designed me for something, and how I know what my design is based on what I'm passionate about and what I can flow easily, what my genius of thought is, right? So fitness and health and wellness is pretty much that genius frame, and God just pretty much put me in that space. And from there, it's almost like once I know what that is and what my gift is, I can easily project that. You know what I mean? Like I can drive like a Lamborghini would drive. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna go off-roading. You know what I mean? Or anything like that. I won't stray away from that because that's what I'm designed to do. And so I guess when in terms of like what God did for me was kind of like made me figure out what that is, and how I know that is because I wanted to know. I kind of got more into, reading what God's relationship is with me, having a relationship with Him, and just knowing everything I can about what God is and not fall in line with the traditional standpoint, because oftentimes I think, religion and tradition can be kind of almost like a glossing over of things, and oftentimes from there you really don't understand unless if you sit down and really have that intimate understanding and just really taking the time to dig deep for yourself and to go into the faith. Like for me, Christianity was my thing, and just knowing what that's all about, then it made me understand what my purpose is from there, because I need to know that. And so because of that journey, it just solidified more of who I am, kind of like put me at ease and at peace at who I am, and therefore anything that I do reflects on what kind of model I am, if that makes sense. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I can't be something when my make and my model tells me something elsewise. You know what I mean? Because the designer made me that way. You know what I mean? So if I'm a Lamborghini, I'm a Lamborghini. You know what I mean? I've got to drive like one rather than not.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So that makes sense. Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that analogy. If you are designed like a Lamborghini, make sure you function and operate and work in that way, right? And take care of your your spirituality first and foremost, and everything revolves around that. That's beautiful, brother. I wanted to kind of tie in how we kind of started working together. So we met mutually through a place that we both train clients at and train ourselves. Both Spartan coaches, right? So first time I met you was at this place called Mission Peak Spartans. So shout out to Mission Peak Spartans, Coach Ty, Coach Christy, and then we actually met through Monica, who also works there, right? And so I think the first time I remember seeing you, you had a shirt on. It said "Spiritual Gains," which I was like, "Oh, that's dope. I love that shirt," right? And I was like, "I'm gonna go say what's up to this guy." Right? that's kind of how I approached how I kind of approach you, and I forgot what the conversation entailed, but Monica was standing there, and you and her were chatting, and I think I just finished coaching one of my clients, and then we just started talking. So we as a result, we started working together. We started something called Bay Area OCR, which was our approach to and methodology and view on how we want to train for OCR. OCR, for those that are listening or watching, it's short for obstacle course racing. It's based on our culture, which we're both Filipino. If you look up our logo and you go to Instagram at Bay Area OCR, you'll see our content there and our posts. And so, we're it's something that we started during the pandemic, and to serve people in our community, working with those that we meet through the Spartan OCR community. What's your feeling or take on when we started it? Like, where do you see us going with that? Like, where do you feel like, because we started during the pandemic, and it's been a challenge, honestly, for even just individually as trainers and coaches, right? Just trying to work with clients, maintain who we have, and build new relationships and build new students and that want to do this Spartan thing or want to do the OCR. Where do you think where we started, where are we headed?
When I first met you, I thought like, man, this is cool. He's another Filipino cat, that's doing OCR. I think there's there's people who are in our community that do it, but I feel like it's underrepresented, right? And I feel like having us coming together just gives another dimension to the potential like people we can reach out to and make them understand that it's not just I guess one-sided of a culture thing. It's multicultural, right? And I think like there is a strong Filipino presence in there, but it's like I said, it's not really known that much. And having to partner up with someone like you and to kind of bring that to light, and more importantly, to kind of represent, to show people that we're doing this, who are Filipino and maybe even people who are the outside culture, just to kind of see that there's more than just one group of people that are out there willing to do this, and like that one part of it. The second part of it is being able to connect with people, the beginners and people who need a place to where when they learn through us, they know that they're that we care about them. We generally care about like their well-being and how they want to go about doing the races. You know what I mean? Because to me, I'm pretty sure you can say this too, is that when we do these races, it's not just the superficial part of it. There's so many layers that go under that, and building a community, building a relationship, taking someone out of their own comfort zone, and because those are the things that I experienced when I did the race, and being able to do something more than I ever thought I could ever do. Because when you go through your first race and you've done a beast or you've done a thing, you're like, dang, dude, that's freaking crazy. But you want to go back and do it again. You know what I mean? It's addicting, right?
Absolutely.
And at the same time, it's one of those kind of things that there's so many like growth and so many life lessons through that process that I'm so excited to share to other people. So right. It's not just I guess an event. It's more than just an event. It's an evolution that a person goes through, and through that evolution and progress or process, they become a different person. And that's what happened to me. You know what I mean? When I did my first OCR race in San Diego and Tough Mudder, that was like, man, I never thought I could ever do that. But after going through that process, I was just like, man, I'm addicted. I want to do some more. And then did a lot of races up here, and vice versa. The rest is history. But again, it's a great thing. I'm not the so-called like elite athlete, but at least I can say that I do have people under me now that studied working with me, that they're up there, and that's because of me opening those doors. You know what I mean? And so I'm just a gatekeeper, just taking them through the process. I don't ever see myself as the master, rather someone who's leading you or somebody who's interested to that path of just learning more about themselves. That's what it is to me. Yeah.
That's beautiful, brother. Yeah, and that's the beauty of us partnering, building Bay Area OCR, because we're teaching them about the values of what it is to be a Spartan and to be an OCR athlete, but also to share like qualities and values that we hold near and dear to our hearts as being Filipino, our culture, hospitality, respect, humility, all that fun stuff, right? So and I think that carries very well into these athletes that we work with and we're building, right, this team and this tribe. So we are both starting something new. We're getting into something new. And if you've been following my social media, maybe Pete's as well, and Pete will share his socials here soon. We are venturing into Spartan, another brand of Spartan, which is called DECA. DECA is just short for decathlon. And DECA involves 10 functional zones that relate to functional fitness, and it's intended for general population to jump into. But even elite athlete can go in there as well, right? And it involves working with a Spartan ram. There's med ball, dead ball in there, and then there's the ergs or cardio machines like an air assault bike, a skier, a rower, and then there's even a tank, which is a upgraded version of a sled where you're pushing and pulling this awesome tool that's part of what DECA offers now. And then there's a farmer carry. So Pete and I are working together to bring DECA to life at a local gym called CrossFit of Fremont. So Pete teaches a boot camp there currently, right? And maybe you can kind of give a quick synopsis of what your boot camp's about, and we'll lead into DECA.
Yeah, well, I started that boot camp, the boot camp, right?
Mm-hmm.
I started the boot camp like about I want to say about 2 months ago, and it's through a good friend of mutual friend of ours, Joe Mobility. Joel is his real name, and so we connected, and I mentioned to him that we want to try, because the one thing about CrossFit, and I'll get to my class later, but the point was is that it's a very high technical class, right? You have to learn how to lift bars, and you got to learn how to do some gymnastic moves and all that kind of stuff, and it's hard for someone who's coming into fitness for the first time. And this segues into my boot camp. And so for me, I'm all about trying to help people learn more about their body, because oftentimes when people jump into and I'm guilty of this too, sometimes I just take two people through the ringer, I work them out, get them to get this high intensity interval, whatever, get them to feel like crap, because they just worked out really hard. But sometimes, some things are lost in that. And one of the things that are lost is the quality of movement, learning how to properly move correctly, because sometimes there could be a lot of discrepancies, or, movement patterns are just not really great. And the older I got and the more I got into my field of work, I realized, I can't continue on just pushing the envelope. I got to be able to kind of dial it down, fix the problem, and then get them into it. And so this kind of is similar to, in a way, because those movements that normally would be high end on the CrossFit end, you have a lot of these low barrier movement patterns that you can get into, and at the same time get that kind of competitive kind of element to it, and then gamification, right? And that's the one element that I'm so excited about with DECA, is that it has all of those. And so when I was doing boot camp, I can now promote to my clientele, who are, I'm helping raise up, that hey, there is something, we can cut the learning curve in half, and gives you into this competition that you can do, and make you do this program that a sense of accomplishment, because now you have this national recognition of your mark, if you will, and something about seeing yourself progressing, or at least moving towards some kind of goal, just what it is with Spartan, what you love about it. It's something that it's a process to strive better at, right? And so it gives a place where these people who normally would just go to work out, now there's a purpose behind it, you know what I mean? And when there's a purpose and there's something to look forward to do, you oftentimes will work hard to get there. And that's what DECA represents. Now my boot campers, going back to my boot camp class, that I'm teaching and getting them to be moving well, rather than just kind of progressing them to this, and and not to say that CrossFit is bad, because it's not. It's actually awesome. It's just that it's just another tier that they can reach once they finish this tier, which is what DECA is. It's like the stopgap between there. You know what I mean? And so to answer that question, it's like that's where I see that boot camp is, preparing them and to get them to do a DECA program, which DECA will help them, eventually move to a CrossFit. Who knows? And so and even OCR, which is another thing that I do. So all of those things all come together. Yeah. So it's like a symbiotic like relationship that every modality has, and it's and for someone who never really experienced working out or been in this kind of world that we're in, that they can see themselves moving in a direction that they can be proud of, seeing them through the process going through, and that's what DECA represents. Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah. No, and I'm so excited to, for the opportunity that we've developed with Joel, at CrossFit of Fremont with DECA, because it definitely is it's that bridge, like you said, it's that stopgap. It gets you from one level to the next, and then eventually even higher. And then, where do you go from there? It's pretty much limitless, and it gives you a way to progress, nicely from, if you're entry level all the way up to potentially a race, athlete OCR, and get into, elite level if you want, right? So it's pretty awesome. And excited for that.
Oh yeah.
So we're leading into this DECA thing, the first time we're going to actually present it to the community is through this fundraiser, that fitness fundraiser that you are, you worked on before. You've actually done an event there at Joel's gym, CrossFit of Fremont. It's called Love on Newark, and this kind of was birth at your local church, right? So maybe you can give people insight on as to what that's about. Love on Newark fundraiser.
Yeah. So Love on Newark was basically started with Jordan and Barry. Those are the two pastors at the Cedars Church, or Community Church, which is like a sister group that's within the big church in itself. And so I know these guys is through mutual friends, and they have a passion about serving the community. And so what happened was that one day they wanted to go out to a homeless encampment over in Newark, and turns out that one of the members that is part of the organization, or the group that we're part of, in Community Church, he was actually from that place too as well. He actually stayed there in this homeless encampment, or the unhoused encampment. And so when we got into there, one of the things that was kind of like inspiring, or more like was really helpful for my friend, was when he noticed that there was people that came around and cared and took the time off to really pray on him and to help him get out of his addiction and out of his situation. And so that experience kind of led into, okay, why don't we make this as a weekly thing? Because I think what it was at the time, there was like every so quarterly that they would go there, serve food and whatnot, but there was not really a relationship built. And so within the past 6-8 months that this has been started, there's always been this weekly breakfast cooked over at this homeless unhoused community. And what they do is they go there every Saturday morning and just serve, and just to help people through their they help them through their daily. And so so that's one of those kind of things that they're doing there, is helping them, just basically building relationships and helping them go through that. Yeah.
That's awesome. That's beautiful. Yeah. So the serving the community is something that's huge for through this fundraiser, and that's amazing that they started that. and giving back, and helping them in this unfortunate situation that, has presented itself to each of these individuals. So prayers always going out to them, and prayers to the guys that are leading this awesome group, right? So we're going to be putting on a fundraiser related to this, to Love on Newark, on Saturday, November 6th at 11:30 a.m., hosting it at CrossFit of Fremont. And for those that are watching and listening, we're actually going to introduce DECA Strong. So DECA has three events, or 3 levels, and so there's DECA Strong, DECA Mile, and DECA Fit. So DECA Strong is where you do all the 10 zones and there's no running involved. Where then if you go into DECA Mile, there's going to be, some running involved at that point, where we're going to, get 160 meters in between each zone. Obviously, heart rate goes up. You're going to be really pushing your systems to get through this challenge. And then you got DECA Fit, which is the kind of the mecca, or the ultimate test, where you go from DECA Strong to DECA Mile, then you go test annually. So at this fundraiser on Saturday, November 6th, it's the intention is to introduce the community to DECA Strong and DECA just in general, to put them through a test, an assessment test of where their fitness is, establish their baseline fitness, and ultimately lead into a program that's going to be starting at CrossFit of Fremont. So, is there anything specific you want to share with the audience about the fundraiser? Like I mentioned the date and time. What else do you want to share on the fundraiser?
So basically what you're going to be doing, what you're going to be contributing to, is the organization that Community Church, which is the organization that is running these breakfasts every Saturday. And what it does is that it supplies them meals, because it takes about like $300 every month to give the supplies. And we're also recognized through the mayor of Newark. Actually, he brings in some supplies as well. So it's not just a grassroots kind of like thing. There's other influential people in the community that are involved as well. There's this in Newark that's offering coffee and all that kind of stuff. So it's all about helping the community. But we don't just want to also provide just the food. So we're not just only doing that, but we're just also providing relationships and getting the people to know that there are programs out there that they can get them out the streets, and to help them, and to kind of get them to, mental health, right? We always hear that word a lot, and that's another thing that's happening right now. It's just the mental health of it, like having someone consistently there and just having a conversation and just kind of helping them through. And it's, I commend those people who are out there doing those things, because it's not easy, building these relationships. And you can tell that there's a lot of people that are hurting, and it's definitely going to a good cause, all of that. Also, what's going to be sold there as well is T-shirts, Spiritual Gains, which is, the church represents these shirts, and so that's another thing that's going to be out there as well. So if, on top of you purchasing the class, if you want to support more, you can actually go into getting the T-shirts as well, or hoodies and T-shirts as well. So not this one. This is for my Halloween costume, my ramen shirt. If you guys could see that. So it's definitely really good. And it's a Saturday, November 6th, and it's really important stuff. Mm-hmm.
That's awesome. I'm honored and excited to help with this cause. It's definitely a wonderful cause, and gives us the opportunity to invite people from anywhere in the Newark community, Fremont, Bay Area. If you want to come in and support a good cause, and you're interested in learning about DECA, this is the chance, this is the opportunity for you to do so. So I want to kind of I want to be respectful of your time, Pete. So we'll kind of wrap up here shortly. Is is the shirt that or your sweater that you're wearing? You said that was Halloween related, right? It's making me hungry
Yeah.
just looking at it because I'm thinking back to when I was back in high school and college. That's all we ate, right? It was ramen. So thank you for making me hungry. You know, so. What flavor? You
Yeah.
said, oh, beef flavor. I love it. um,
Yeah. This is
I
a
want,
cool Halloween costume. I think I'm gonna wear it maybe after Halloween too.
I would say, yeah, wear it in the situation where you know we're all going to be hungry, and you got to inspire us to go and get some
To
warm
eat.
soup, right? So eat some warm soup.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So to wrap up here, I wanted to put you through some quick fire questions. Are you open to that?
Yeah. Go ahead.
Quick fire. Okay. So quick fire for those that are listening. I actually asked these quick fire questions of my previous guests before, and so this is my opportunity to ask Pete this. I'm excited actually to do this with him. So he's a really good friend, and I feel like we have we're just getting started on where we're gonna head with what we're working on together. So these are just basic questions. Don't feel pressured at all. They're just kind of one word answers or simple one sentence answers, and you can either say yes or no if
Okay.
they pertain. Okay. So this is
Okay.
just to help people kind of learn more about you. So what's your favorite cheat meal?
I'm wearing it now. Ramen.
I love it. Okay, I love it. Ramen, but throw in some like sriracha or something, right? Some hot sauce.
Yeah. Yeah.
And what's your favorite beverage? Beverage of choice?
Man. Boba.
Boba.
Non-dairy boba.
Non-dairy boba. Okay, awesome. I have a intolerance to dairy as well, so I totally hear you on that.
Yeah, but I love
Who
boba. I
is
love boba though.
boba is addicting, and yeah, you can definitely get in trouble if you have too much of it, right? So
Yeah,
who,
you can.
yeah, who's your real life superhero? Do you have someone that kind of this person doesn't have to be someone I'll give you a background. My real life superhero was my dad. He passed away obviously back in 2002, and I honor him through what I do in life, and I wear him proudly on my arm here. Those of you that haven't seen this tattoo, here's my dad on my forearm or inside of my forearm. Who's your real life superhero, Pete?
Manny Pacquiao.
Manny Pacquiao. Oh, I love it. That's awesome. Yeah, he's an amazing individual. Very much for the people in the Philippines. Wonderful fighter to watch, and yeah, it was a blessing to see this once in a lifetime, Filipino brother kind of storm through the boxing world, and now he has some big things coming up, in the political side of his career,
Crazy.
right? So yeah, that's awesome.
Crazy.
What superhero, and now you can think Marvel, or not Capcom. I was thinking Street Fighter just now. Marvel and DC, or any superhero that you've ever seen. Like, who do you identify with the most?
Oh man. Who would that be? That's a good one because I never really thought about that till now.
Put you on the spot.
I guess I know. Put me on the spot there. If I can think of someone who's kind of, boy.
I'll give you insight as to mine, so it kind of gives you
Okay, go ahead.
maybe some.
Yeah.
So mine is Spider-Man. Why? Because he's like a ninja, and super smart, super intelligent. He just moves very gracefully, and he can shoot webs and fly everywhere and just get to where he wants to be. But he's very real. very authentic in who he is, and very human in that sense. He acknowledges his weaknesses, but is also always striving to become better and do better, right? So that's my
Yeah.
superhero. What about, so based on that, what do you think? Who's your
Oh man. I mean, I guess you can say for me would be like just thinking about it right now is
Manny Pacquiao?
man, I gotta have to go back to that later because I just
All
really
right,
can't think of it now.
all
Yeah,
right.
but
How
yeah, I
about
can
how
think of
about when I
about it.
Mhm. All right, think about it. How
Go ahead.
about when I post this, I'll throw in the show notes for the people that are watching and listening. They'll see who your superhero is, and then they can comment and tag us on the social medias
Oh,
to
nice.
give us
Yeah.
some feedback. So yeah, who is your mentor in coming up in the industry? When you entered fitness and training and
Fitness.
coaching, like, yeah, who is your mentor?
Oh man, there was one guy. We worked in Bally's. Uh, oh my God, I forgot his name now, but I remember him. Um, he was really he really trajected me to the caring part of fitness, or
Mm.
to thinking about. I remember him because he was my GM at the time, and I remember
Oh.
him. He was like, because I was all about money at the time. I really was just thinking about like how many clients I'm gonna get or whatever. I really didn't have a human connection, and this guy really, really took the time to kind of made me appreciate that, and made me understand that people are just not dollar signs. That they're actually people with with lives, and they're trusting you. I mean, that's the one thing that he really put it in my heart was that that you're you have to trust this. That people are. It's a big deal that they're trusting you to give their bodies to you. So you have to help them, and you have to do it with empathy. You know what I mean? And I think that's the word that I learned with that. He taught me the word empathy, and to
Mm.
put myself in other people's shoes and understand where they came from, so you can help them. Rather than just seeing the dollar. You know what I mean? Um, Man, his name is leaving my mind. I can't believe it. It's like the superhero thing.
That's okay.
But
We'll
yeah,
give you.
it's yeah. So that's yeah. That's what happened there. He was the very first one that really got me into that path. And after that lesson that was learned, of course I had many other mentors coming down the pipeline, but
Mm.
nothing as memorable as him because he was the one who really started me on that path of thinking. Yeah.
That's beautiful, brother. Yeah, that's what we do as
Yeah.
coaches, as trainers, is be empathetic to our clients' needs, and provide the best service possible in getting them to their goals, and teaching them more than just movement, more than just fitness. It's that, and I think you can agree with me, that holistic approach to bettering themselves, right? And fitness would be the foundation, but there's so much more to it than that. And seeing them more than what you said, than just a walking dollar sign. So to wrap up this Q&A or quick fire, if you had one thing to leave behind or be remembered by, um, what is that one thing that you wish to be remembered by? Like, reading up on Coach Pete, like, what's the one thing that you'd like people to remember you by?
Oh man, I guess just um did I make you smile? Did I make you happy? You know what I
Mm.
mean? I think that's the one thing that sticks out with me because you know, um was my relationship with you genuine? Was it real? You know what I mean? Like I think that's the one thing that I think about. And of course, if I mean, there's many things actually. Did I help you? That's the word. Did I help you? I think that's the one thing that I
Nice.
want to say. Yeah, did I help you? And if I did, then that's good. So yeah, I think that's the main thing. Aside from all the stuff that I just mentioned, did I help you? Yeah.
Did you, sir? Did you make an impact, basically, right?
Yeah. Did I
That's
serve? Did I
awesome.
help? whether it's an impact or not, or it led you down the path of helping you get an impact.
Yeah, I love that.
Because I know where my role is. I know that I can't do as what other people can do to make an impact, but I at least can start opening the doors to other people to go through. That's what I feel. Yeah.
I love that. That's awesome,
Yeah.
brother. So to wrap up, how can people find you and reach you? Do you have social media or do you have a website? Like, what's the best way to
Yeah,
reach you?
I do have social media. It's like my personal ones, but I do like my own personal like fitness and all that kind of stuff. So first one is for Instagram, IG is Coach Father Pete, and then my Facebook is Peter Ryan Tapao, and so that's my full name. They both basically have my both personal and my fitness stuff in there too as well. But yeah, I have a website, but my friend is still working on it, and and yeah, it's still something that's work in progress. It's been going
That's
on
all
for a
right.
long time. Yeah,
Yeah,
but that's
awesome.
about it. That's what I have so far. Yeah.
So yeah, I'll make sure I link in the show notes, your social media. And then your website, people will look for that at some point, hopefully, right?
Yeah, hopefully.
So, yeah. Yeah. So I appreciate you hopping on this podcast with me, brother. Sincerely appreciate your authenticity for welcoming me to, your group of fellow Fit Pro friends, and always looking out for me, giving me opportunities to grow. And through you, I've met Dave Fernandez at Redwood Fit. So shout out to Dave. Through you, I met Joel Pascal. He's also known as Joe Mobility at CrossFit of Fremont. The opportunities that we're gonna work on through Spartan, and Bay Area OCR. We started that. That's our kind of our baby going forward, right? So I'm excited where we're headed with that for sure. So those of you that are interested in following our journeys, please follow Pete. Also look at Bay Area OCR, hashtag Bay Area OCR, and at Bay Area OCR or Bay Area.OCR on Instagram. Anything else you want to end with, Pete? Are you good? I think you need to go get something to eat, because that's making me hungry, like that sweater, for real.
And I gotta also think about what that superhero is gonna be. I really haven't thought about that yet.
All right.
I was thinking, yeah. But anyways, if anyone can say that what that would be, they think that I can be, then I'll take that into. So
that would be awesome. Let's get the community involved and let them comment and let them share their feedback and thoughts on that. So I appreciate you, brother, for joining me. We'll see. We'll connect on. Thank you. Yeah, we'll connect on Saturday, November 6th. For those of you that are interested in meeting both of us in person and meeting Joel or Joe Mobility at CrossFit of Fremont, meet us there Saturday, November 6th at 11:30 a.m. Let's jump on that fundraiser, for a good cause, and then let's knock out this Spartan DECA strong, testing and workout, get you guys some baseline fitness, and join our program going forward. All right.
Yeah, love it. Thank you.
All
right. Peace.
All right, I'm gonna hit stop record and stop that.